Hello, fellow knife enthusiasts. Instead of fixed blade today, I wanted to do a review of a multi-tool. And this multi-tool is my most used one. And yeah, I just wanted to do like overall opinion of it and like the specs. And I try to keep it kind of short, under 15 minutes, because there's quite a bit of different things to say about this, so I'm just going to go ahead. Yeah, so I have had this for 6 years now, and I've used this quite a bit, really quite a bit, and it's the largest of all Leatherman multi-tools, if I'm not mistaken. I will just show firstly the blade. It's really nice. The blade is robust. It's one of the longest blade on a multi-tools that I have seen or used, really. And the thing is that, yeah, the one issue with this one was just the grind. This kind of was, I believe it was a bit too, for my purpose, a bit too high, the V-edge here. So it was kind of thin behind the edge and kind of fragile, so I had to grind it a bit, and it was really getting chippy. And because of this kind of multi-tool use, it's for me at least normally like a hard use that I have with this blade. So it's not for slicing or something like this. Maybe other people's have different uses, but for me that was a bit the issue with this one. So I grind it a bit, and I will continue. I will maybe I will convex it or something, because I feel that like for a blade like this, it needs to have the strength rather than the slicing capabilities. But anyway, it's really nice, the blade. Then the scissors, really good. The best scissors I've had in a multi-tool. Really robust, keeps the edge for a long time, and easy to use, really great. Everything feels with the Surge kind of it doesn't feel compromised. It feels like every tool is like in itself already quite good, which, yeah, it's kind of great with this one. There's the file. You can change the file to a saw. Easy to change. And I actually bought many different saw blades from a hardware store, so I have a good selection of these. They're really cheap, so I haven't used them so much, but okay, occasionally I've had some use with those. But yeah, it's in a way good to have. Then there's this weird one, which I don't like, or I don't use. I much rather have another kind of blade than this one. I never really get why they put this in the multi-tools, this kind of saw blade. I don't know. I've heard that one use could be that it's kind of emergency tools. For example, if you're in a car accident, or if you rescue somebody from a car, and so you can cut the seat belts away. So this really is kind of slicey with the saw, with the tools, saw. How do you say so? Saw tools, and then it's a chisel grind or chisel edge here, and then without a pointy tip, so you don't stab anybody, so you can just easily take the safety belt, cut the safety belt. I don't know, but I just much rather have something else than this. Okay, what then? Yeah, so here's the Phillips normal, quite robust, this one actually. Also, everything feels strong here. This for piercing leather. Yes, then the can opener slash like a bottle opener, good. And then of course you have the torches, or Phillips, really nice. This is one of my most used elements of the multi-tool, as I believe with many. It's easy to change. I have the kit here with other torches and different sizes and a Phillips. So this is really, it's kind of handy because it's very often in easy access place in my house. So if I just need to do something quickly, I just have it here and I have the selection here. So I very often just grab this one instead of like going to my like shed and finding the toolbox. I have better ones, of course, more specific ones and stronger, but it's just it's still robust. It takes the really, you have, well, I repeat myself, but this is the element of Surge that everything feels like hard use, made for hard use. Yeah, so this is great. Then one of the most important things really is the pliers. And with the Surge, I think it's one of the longest pliers that Leatherman has. Really, really strong, and it feels that you can really put this to a hard use. So you can change the wire cutters here. Could become handy for sure. Yeah, and what else? It's just really good. So like I said, 6 years of use. Yeah. And so the most use that I have with this, or I have had with this one, is around the house. Very practical. My wife uses this also, and then I've had this in my, like if we do a weekend family trip, I just put it in the auto, so it's like a, just sits there. But then I've actually used it in many occasions. So even the saw blades in one of few occasions. So I will take all the kit with me if we go, for example, family weekend trip. Okay, these. Then I have had this also during hikes. So if a few nights in a forest or something, I have taken this with me. So it's a bit heavy, so it's not optimal for that, but it's okay. I have had this on few of my hiking trips, and then of course just renovation. It's kind of good. So we have a family summer house in the Baltic Sea, and there very often it's the case that you just spend the whole day, doing different like summer house chores, and then added some renovation, and it's just the whole day with me and really useful. Okay, but then maybe the most interesting use that I have had this, or kind of for me it was a bit of a surprise actually, was that I've used this as a fishing multi-tool also, and I want to explain a bit. I do lots of different fishing, and just for example, if I do fly fishing, which is something which I do a lot, I have my fly fishing vest with me. So I have it here, and it's full of different equipments. So if you're a fly fisherman, you know you need quite a bit of different things, and they're all there. And for that reason, for that purpose, I don't need Leatherman for fly fishing at all. But I've used this actually for a specific type of fishing. I live here beside one of the largest wilderness areas in South Finland, and I do lots of fishing. Like I fish perch and pikes and a pike perch also here in nearby, and here's lots of different lakes, and I go very often to a day's hike. I have all the food I need, and then I have my fishing equipment with me, and I just go from lake to lake and try to find perches or pikes or etc. And this has been on those trips now for 2 years with me, and especially last autumn I used this quite a bit, because last autumn was a really good season for perch fishing. And the thing is that this is really handy in the sense that I just have it in my belt, and I just need to explain that for perch fishing or pike fishing, I don't need as much things as for fly fishing, for sure. It's just only so many things you need for that kind of fishing. So, but this is on my belt, and it's really easy to access. I just take it here out with one hand. It's just there. If you need to cut the line, etc., it's just here. I will have my normal fishing knife with me in my backpack, so for opening fish or fillets, etc. But this is just for cutting lines, etc. And then all fishermen know that they need pliers, or I don't know if it's called. But I think it's also pliers. Like if I have for example in my fly fishing vest, I have this longer, a bit more delicate pliers just for taking the lures out of the fish's mouth. And yeah, I've used this quite a bit actually for that. So there's already 2 uses that I have for this now, and this is kind of interesting because this is, as I said, is really robust, and very often with at least with the cheap pliers, they actually have had some issues actually. For example, I had a big pike last autumn, 6 kilos, and it was really deep there, and I really had to work the lure out. And with a weaker plier, like a fishing pliers, it could be a problem. So if it's not high quality, so it's actually one of those things that has been kind of disappointing with many fly fishing pliers, that they're just too weak. Yeah, so this definitely doesn't have that problem. This is extremely strong, and of course it's not optimal. It's not. It could be longer, etc. But I have had, at least at this point, no problem. So it has filled that duty. But at the same time, this pliers also comes handy because if I wanna take the barb out of the hook, so if I wanna flatten it, I've used this a lot. So for example, if everybody knows who has done some fishing, the hook can go into unneeded places, and then you need to cut or flatten the barb, or if you do a fishing where there's a lots of like for example, there's one place I fished perch with that has like a trout population that's not allowed to take the trouts, and there's a lot of smaller ones which I need to go back to the river. Then I need to all the lures that I use are barbless. So for this I also use this, and then so now it's 3 use. This is also kind of handy because, like I said, I do lots of perch fishing, and I use yiggies. I'm not really sure if that's the correct way to pronounce yiggies, but it's kind of a goes in the bottom, this kind of lure. You can check it out, and the hooks get really easily dull. So lots of hooks I have sharpened it with this one. So and with any hooks, you just need to sharpen them quite a bit. So with one tool, I have 4 use in a fishing trips, and I know that there's better options out there. As I said, this is heavy, but I've used this quite a bit for that purpose also. So yeah, quite a bit of use with this one. It's a trade-off, so you get really good quality, but it's also really heavy. So in my opinion, it's worth it. It's worth the weight, really. There's other options which are more lightweight, but this has all the benefits of just being so robust, and yeah, it has been great for me. Thanks, see you later.